Okay, guys, I'm going to be working on this drawing of Saint Francis for about 30 minutes, Saint Francis of Assisi. I just fixed his eye because his eye was looking really weird last time I uh, worked on it. Yeah, so anyway, this is the drawing so far. It's him preaching to the birds. He has a bird on his hand here. This is kind of really cute. Um, his fingers are kind of looking a little thick here, but I'm just gonna leave it like that. Let's just say he had like tough hands. Um, Sometimes I like to imagine people as like a tall, maybe like a tall guy. Um, Maybe he has thin fingers, but I think I'm just gonna go, with like thick, tough fingers as if he's like has a lot of callus and move them around a lot. Um, I've seen like really, really calloused, hardworking fingers before. My dad was in the military, and his he was a carpenter and mason in the military. So he worked really hard, and his hands got really thick from that work. Me being an artist my whole life and a gamer, I haven't really done all that much with my hands as far as like hard labor. So I guess my hands would be considered maybe dainty, delicate, and effeminate in comparison to really hard workers. But I still want to work hard, at least, and use my talents as an artist. And I am working on a mural at a local church, which is really a blessing. And not getting paid commission or anything, but just want to contribute to my parish. But hopefully, like, also enjoy and pray for the opportunities that may come from doing that work. So I'm just like doing some branches and stuff right now under the tree. And we're gonna put another tree back here. Let's put it a little farther away so that we'll use a thin outline for this one. Maybe I won't make the branch quite as big, but I kind of want like some birds to be hanging out on on some of these trees. So I am streaming on Twitch also and going to YouTube, and like I've been thinking about just like giving, like I I I tend to look at the numbers. I tend to like look at results and be like, hey, what is my work yielding results? But I'm doing the work that I want to do, and I keep thinking, do I want to adjust the work that I do, just for the sake of like um uh you know copying other people and doing like trying to engage some market or something. But I want to do Catholic art, and that's my dream. And um I've been focusing a little bit more on like non-fictional Catholic art, which is kind of funny because I know a lot of people might consider religion fiction. But just the lives of the saints and kind of drawing them. And of course, my long-term goal is to do Joan of Arc. And I'm leaning into this whole Opus Lilium thing. If you guys don't know, my new art Instagram, my new art identity is Opus Lilium. I did start a new YouTube channel, which I don't really, I'm gonna be contributing to slowly, but so far I'm focusing on my Instagram is because I'm posting like these still images for my shop. And if you guys want to see any Catholic work, I am posting it in my shop more. I just recently finished a drawing of Teresa of Avila. I think because I'm talking, it's kind of hard to concentrate on the drawing part itself. But I do want to inform you guys that I have this new thing. Teresa of Avila is the one that I recently finished. I think, yeah, the branch is a bit long. Let's get a little shorter here. And it's her writing in her notes, writing the poem of Nada te turbe, or Let Nothing Disturb You, which is a great poem of prayer that I've been kind of thinking about, especially because if you guys saw my last little vlog video, my life has been kind of going crazy. I'm in a crazy crisis, and it's really my own fault. And if you guys maybe have seen some of my other vlog videos that are not art related, you guys might know what's going on with me. But apart from that, I just want to lean into this, Catholic art of the saints, and I'm really enjoying like the line work. That line work has always been, I guess, a strength of mine. But I never want to get too complacent or arrogant about anything anymore. Like it's like even saying that I'm good at something or like practice something a lot, it could be like possibly a source of pride. And I think what I'm learning is that it's all about the process, and it's all about enjoying the process of improvement and consistency. Because that's what it's all about. Because like any like self praise of being like, hey, I'm good at this, or I practice this, or I accomplish this, anything like that, it's like it's almost like indulgence. I don't want to fall to the dangers of like thinking that way. I know it might seem a little bit over scrupulous to some of you. Like, yeah, you should pat yourself on the back sometimes. Well, yeah, if that's good for you, but for me, I'm trying to increase in the virtue of humility, and I think for me, one of Saint Teresa of Avila's quotes that really got to me in her book, The Interior Castle. It's just a little quote, a little thing, a little note that she threw in. She said, "Where there is humility, praise is a torment," and I feel that. I'm like, you know, I don't want to receive praise. Like I think I just want to be humble before God. And what's interesting is that my new work, my new job, they really put a lot of emphasis on workplace culture and building up their team and making sure the team is recognized and comfortable and appreciated. And I like that. I like that about them because they're giving love, they're giving words of affirmation to their coworkers. But it's almost like I need to be wary. I need to be wary of such praise because um, I think for me my goal is it's humility before God. So um, I don't. I really want to be careful of it. I think even here on YouTube, I get YouTube comments. It's like, "Hey, great job," things like that. Thank you, and it's like I don't want to turn them away. Yeah, Teresa of Avila talked about that in her book too. She doesn't want to like there. If I guess if there's humility, there might be an instinct to say, "Hey, no, I'm not really as great as you think. Um, it's only God that is good." But she said eventually, if you have adequate humility, you realize that God could be using you to draw others near to Himself. Um, and if they see beauty or something praiseworthy in you, that means they're seeing God. And I think that's like the way I want to see it and the way I have to see it right now. Because in analyzing like, my own personal character defects, pride has been one of them. Sloth, lust, pride, probably my biggest ones. And then gluttony. I think gluttony is kind of a creeper on me because it's always been there, but I think I need to like take a look at it a little bit more. And I know that the opposing virtue of gluttony is temperance, meaning if I want to indulge myself in anything, whether it be food or entertainment, just anything that's like kind of base, basic, basic dopaminergic need, then I need to watch it and I need to make sure I take care to uh, temper those cravings. So eating less, and combining all these virtues. I know that like again, I really have been thinking about the seven deadly sins lately. Let's think about them again. So let's talk about my weaker, the ones that don't really bother me first, the ones that don't have not really had a great hold on me. I'm not sure. It could be due to my childhood. It could be due to just God blessing me with not having those trials. Um, but let's take a look at wrath. I'm a pretty peaceful person. I don't like conflict. I've been angry. I've lost my temper a few times in my life, but it doesn't happen very often. But I know, and I've learned this from experience, that everybody has a breaking point, including me. And I don't really like getting to that breaking point. I don't like lashing out. I don't like feeling anger. And I know that anger as an emotion was built into us and designed into us, whether you believe in God or believe in evolution. I personally believe that um, evolution is a part of the process of God's grace. Um, but however you see it, we feel anger, and anger facilitates fairness and justice. We get angry at injustice, and so when we get angry, we want justice. Um, and there's like a whole like justice itself is a very hard thing to achieve by any humanly means, because one thing that happens with anger is that if someone doesn't control it and someone doesn't temper it, it can lash out and just be destructive in all directions. You're not directing that justice toward anyone in particular. or it's just lashing out radially, I suppose you could say. Um, so I've done some work on the trees here. I haven't really done leaves yet, so let's just do big bunches of leaves here. Um, yeah. Anyway, anger sort of lashes out radially if it's uncontrolled. So in order to control anger, first of all, like what is the opposing virtue? The opposing virtue is called meekness. That if you have anger, you're going to be meek, and meek doesn't mean weak. It doesn't mean being a pushover. It means that you can have anger and intense emotions, but you can control it. As far as I've learned from different speakers and different preachers and priests, that's what meekness is. So those who struggle with anger are called to be meek, um, to not have a destructive wrath, but acknowledging that it is okay to have anger as an emotion, and understanding what it's for. I don't think it's personally a big problem for me because I don't like wrath. But I could be overcorrecting in the sense that maybe I don't get justice when I need it, and there are times maybe I could be a pushover. So it's something I could take a look at, but it's not a huge struggle for me. Another one that's not really one of my vices, I think, is greed. I don't really think I have a lot of like worldly needs. I need to be careful of saying that because obviously I do, but as far as like money, like if I get money, I'm just gonna give it to my family. Really, I don't really have a lot of use for it. Personally, well, I do in the sense that what makes me happy in life is the things I do and the people I'm with. And I guess if I have adequate money that I can be with the people I love and do the things that I can do, then I'll be happy. Again, guys, I've made a lot of mistakes in life, and the things that I've done have really separated me from both of those things, that the things that I like to do and the people that I love. And what I've had to make the adjustment is like, first of all, change the things that I like to do because some of the things that I like to do were very addictive. So saying that I like to do it doesn't mean that it was good for me. And then the people I love, that's for me, that's a huge regret. It's like I know that it's my fault for like um, doing that. So with greed, going back to greed, for me, like that's I recognize what I want in life, what's important to me, and like just having a lot of money and always wanting more. That's I don't think that's going to be an issue for me. The thing is, though, I'm working hard to make more money and as a way to contribute to my family. And actually speaking about this virtue right now, and Saint Francis of Assisi. Saint Francis of Assisi grew up like a kind of a rich boy. He grew up. I don't know if he was necessarily a nobleman, but like he had his father was like a carpet salesman or something, like a rug salesman or textiles or something, and I guess he would like participate in the business, and he would go out and just have fun with friends and stuff. But Saint Francis eventually he rejected that life. He The gospel message of Jesus was absorbed into him, into his mind, and completely into his soul, and he just completely rejected worldly desire, and he went out, went into the caves, got rid of all his possessions, and just started preaching the gospel. And um, what a man to like be worthy of preaching the gospel, right? Because he's living it. He's not just saying the words, and I think that's something for me that has been told to me many times before. I don't remember exactly who the quote is credited to, but preach the gospel and if necessary use words. And it's like, yeah, I've been using words my whole life, and I've been just, speaking and not necessarily living what I speak. And that too has caused a lot of problems. And it's like, I need to be someone who has the integrity and to be a man of my word, because I've hurt so many people by not being a man of my word. So, yeah. So going back to greed and going back to Saint Francis, Saint Francis called called it Lady Poverty, I think it was. Like he found a new love. And, he was never married. And he really did like go out and just I'm not even sure if I'm doing the texture of the tree right. Let's just keep it a little bit more simple here. Let's remove some of the details that I've been putting in. I've been kind of doing it mindlessly. Um, yeah. So there should be some leafy patterns here instead of just curves. So let's bring it out this way to overlap the other tree. Let's get it. We can get it a little bit detailed here. I normally don't do like details, this level of detail with trees, but I think we can give it a shot. I'm really trying to improve my line work here, anyways. So okay, going back to greed, Saint Francis, Lady Poverty. He really gave up everything and gave his life to God, and yeah, just preached the gospel in the streets. He became a beggar. Like he was willing to become a beggar, and I know that that kind of asceticism is seen in other religions too. I know in Buddhism, like you're encouraged to like go beg, like drop everything and go beg, and like really strip yourself down of possessions, um, and just give everything for the religious life. And it's hard to understand like why does that idea of giving away everything and being a beggar, like how are you contributing to society? Like nowadays, I guess in my Western oriented mindset, it's like to be productive, you want to take all the resources you have and orient them towards like enriching other people's lives. And when we say enriching, it's like is that does that mean you're giving good to other people's lives, or by enriching are we like playing into other people's greed and like perpetuating this capitalistic materialistic oriented society? And it's hard to say because it's like, yeah, we being generous, that's what it is. You're giving to others so that they can live well. But I think what it comes down to is like how much does one need to be satisfied? And I think the thing is with going out and being a beggar. Now I can't speak for Buddhists. I don't know how that works in Buddhism, where you want to go out and be a beggar. But in Saint Francis' case, he did it because he knew, and I'm just assuming here, like based on what I know of our faith, he knew that God alone suffices, as far as one's needs and happiness, and he lived with God in nature, and he chose that life, and he was good with that. He was okay with that. Um, so it says a lot to me that if I were to lose everything, which again I tend to not really talk about the gravity of my crisis, my life's crisis, on YouTube, but it is very intense right now. You probably can't hear it in my voice because I'm focused on drawing and I'm focused on loving and giving to you guys. So I'm a little bit distracted from all the crazy things that are happening in my own life. But uh, I'm really being to stripped down, at least being stripped down, because God is not, so far has not taken away all my resources, my talent, my um he hasn't taken away my family completely, like or my friends, like due to my past. I still have some things, and now I'm being called to take these things, not take them for granted, and put good use to them, for His glory. So that's what I'm being called to do. Yeah, we can get this nice and detailed. I'm trying to change the strokes a little bit so that it looks leafy. So for me, what is Opus Lilium all about? It's all about work, diligence and chastity. That the reason I use the symbol of the lily, coming from Saint Joseph, Saint our Blessed Mother Mary. I really love Saint Joan of Arc, Saint Kateri Tekakwitha. There, she is often depicted with a lily. Lily means purity. It means purity. It usually refers to like sexual purity and chastity, but it just means purity, that one has directed their heart toward being a holy person, a sacred person, and living a holy life. So I do want to live a holy life, especially after I've done so much, having addiction and just hurting so many people so much. I don't want that anymore. I want to be away from that life, and I do want to dedicate myself to some level of holiness and purity. And that's lilium in Latin, so lily. Then there's opus, which just means work, and I don't even know if that's like grammatically correct in Latin. I just we just came up with a really nice sounding Catholic sounding phrase or name. Maybe if I take a look at Latin anymore, then I might see, oh, it doesn't make sense, or hopefully it does. Um, I know that Opus Dei is a thing. I don't really know much about it, but I know it just means work God, or maybe it means work of God. So maybe my Opus Lilium means work of Lily, work of the lilies. I don't know. I don't know. But either way, I want to make sure that I am. We can put another branch here. Doing those things, having the virtues of chastity and diligence, things that I have lacked in my life for many years, and I just don't want to be lacking of those things anymore. I don't want that void of darkness to be in me anymore, and I want to fill it with light. And if you guys, as you guys might know, in some of my videos that I've talked about, evil is a privation of good. It's not it's not an opposing force to good. So you can defeat evil by filling yourself with good, not necessarily fighting directly against the evil and eliminating it. That's not enough. Eliminating the evil is not enough, because evil, all you do is leave a void. You got to replace it with something good. So for the vice of greed, then the opposing virtue is just it's generosity. It's knowing what you have, and knowing that you can't take these things with you when you die, and therefore you have a responsibility to be a good steward of these things. And that can mean a lot of things. It could mean taking care of the planet and recycling. It could mean taking your talents and giving of your time and talents to others. Um, simple works of charity, like donating to the poor, or giving away canned goods, or blankets and clothes and stuff to the poor. That's simple acts of generosity. It could be even within your own family. Maybe the virtue might not quite be as strong if you're just generous within your own family, but it's still a great virtue. I know that some parts of the gospel said, like, if you love your own, you love your loved ones, and you don't love your enemies, like, that love is inferior. But it's still a great thing to be generous in general. Um, but yeah, but being generous to your loved ones and your enemies is one of the great challenges of the gospel. The Gospel of Matthew, I think. And yeah, so I've only, so now talking about that, even talking about that, I can improve. Maybe I don't consider greed and wrath like a big vices for me, but the opposing virtues can always increase, and there's no limit to how much they can increase. And I've spoken this several times, but my confessor, the priest that I talk to the most, he told me there is no limit to humility, and humility being the opposing virtue of pride, which is, as they say, the mother of all sin. Therefore, humility might be one of the most important virtues to develop. And again, I spoke about this in one of my last videos, is like pride is the lack of humility. Like, pride might seem like this big, boisterous, outward thing, but that's how children are. That's how babies are. They cry because I don't know if they necessarily consider themselves prideful, but they are self-centered. They are self-centered. They cry because they want milk, they want toys, they want, and that's not a bad thing. It keeps them alive. But as they grow, then and they start to learn virtue, they start realizing, oh, I'm not the center of the world. It's not my own excellence that is the great thing in life. It's not my own, serve me, serve me. Rather, it is creating more life. It is cultivating more life, and giving to the lives of others. That's what fulfills us. Um, at least that's what I believe. I'm gonna finish these leaves here. Then I gotta start heading to work. let's like start it like up here. Let's get the tree a little bit lower. Um, so another one, I guess I'm going in reverse order, and maybe this will be the last one I talk about. This one is hard for me to understand because I don't really like think about it too much, but I know it's there. I know. So envy. Let's talk about envy. I know that I've experienced envy. I've experienced jealousy in particular, like romantic jealousy is like a big one for me. That I've experienced a lot in the past, and maybe to this day I still might experience sometimes. Um, and it's like uh, that's hard to deal with because envy is like wanting something that other people have. So let's say I don't like looking at like a muscular, rich guy because it makes me jealous and want to be muscular and rich and to have like, the happiness or goods that he has. You shall not covet your neighbor's goods, or and I guess in my sense, covet my neighbor's like body or his life. I do covet. So it's not like this thing is that this vice of envy is not with me. It's just that I don't really think about it or notice it a lot, and maybe it's something I could afford to do. Now I have a list here. Capital sins, they have capital virtues, and then the opposite extreme. So the opposite of extreme of anger would be servility, or something like self-loathing. I guess it's like, rather than being just and having that balance of being just, and pursuing justice, but also being meek and tempering one's anger, we can overcorrect into servility. I'm not really sure the definition of that word, and it's something maybe I can look up. But it sounds like you just become subservient to those who are oppressing you, and that's not good either. Maybe that's not good either. It's no, it definitely doesn't sound good. Um, Maybe you can do it out of love of them, and as we say, turn the other cheek. But I know that that is something that Jesus did. He took the form of a slave and became subservient to those who are oppressing him. But that's because he's God and he has perfect agape love. So it's something I need to think about and really look into, like, what is servility, what is meekness, what is anger. But again, it's not a huge issue for me, so it's something I can like really put, maybe make a priority later. I know I don't want to say these things that will bite me back because I do need to work on everything for me. There's no limit to these virtues. But gluttony, there's temperance. For anger, there's meekness, and for envy, there is kindness or brotherly love. And perhaps that means that to the people I can be envious of, and this sounds extremely difficult now that I say this, is like, can I be kind, or at least charitably pray for those that I'm envious of? And that's something maybe I can think about today or think about later. But anyway, maybe I'll take the next video to talk about the ones that are really strong in me, which are pride, lust, sloth, and gluttony. Those are much stronger in me, and have really, really, I would say, ruined my life. And again, guys, I don't go into detail, but and I don't want to downplay this. When I say ruined my life, it is true. My life is completely ruined by the continued vices that I took part in my past, and hopefully no longer in my present. So I do have to head to work, and I got some good trees in there. I got to do birds in this, so I spent most of this little session drawing trees. But I got to add the birds because that's what Saint Francis. That's who he preached to. He preached to the birds, and that's the mystery of this story. Anyways, I hope you guys like listening to me. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.